Hey guys, this is David at SourceTrack Studio. In today's video, I want to walk you through how I approach drum mixing for different styles of music. I've got 4 examples for you today, and we're going to start with the softest drums and work our way up into heavier stuff and then more complex arrangements. Before we get started, don't forget down below is a link to your free studio prep guide, so grab that while you're here. Let's get started. Alright, first up, let's do a Christmas song. Like I said, we're going to be doing in order from softest drums to heaviest drums. So let's just take a listen to some of the chorus here.
Because it's all who you're with who ruins all the photos on your fridge, who buys all the most useless gifts. So, baby, it's all who you're.
As you can tell, they're pretty organic, and there's not a whole lot of processing on them. Let's hear some of these toms. The only major processing is this kick sample right here. Let's listen to the kit without the kick sample, and then I'll throw it in. The goal here is really to keep the drums organic sounding and just provide a good foundation for the song to sit on. When I'm EQing these, let's open some up here. I'm just boosting a little bit of top end, a little bit of low end, and cutting a little bit more mids. This is actually a pretty major move, so I'll show you this first. This is our kick, by the way. So it's definitely got some EQ and compression moves, but I'm not totally slamming it here, and I'm not trying to make it sound like a completely different kick. If we go to the snare here, we're really just boosting some crack and some body. But I'm only compressing a tiny bit, as you can see here. It's barely kissing the 3 dB mark, and just to fatten it up a little bit of tape. Just those 2 little moves, some compression, some tape saturation, that's going to lift the kit, but still keep it organic sounding. And we've got some room mics down here. Let's take a listen. This one is more sensitive, so I'll just play this one. And this one only has compression on it, no EQ. Again, trying to keep it very organic. Let's hear it without compression, and then I'll put it in. So there's a level difference and there's a little bit more punch out of it, but I'm not totally crushing it. If you want to go nuts, we could hit the all buttons in mode and slam the input. But this song doesn't call for a really slammed room sound. We want to keep it organic and natural sounding. And as I'm going through these, keep in mind that every drummer plays very differently, so I have to process the drums based off of not only the style, but how the drummer plays as well. Up next, we've got a country song. These are going to be a little bit more processed. We still want a pretty organic sound in country music, but for modern country, we have to have some more of that punch and a little bit more compression and snap to the drums. Let's take a listen. For the signal chain on the front end, I use the same microphones and I go through the console for my drums. Not much changed with the signal chain except maybe some EQ on the board. But what's changing in the mix is we've got a snare sample now to give us some more of that punch. I'll play the kit without the samples just so you can see how much of the real kit is in there. And with the samples. So still not a massive difference. We're still keeping it organic, but we're getting a lot more punch out of these drums. Number one, it was a different kit. That makes a huge difference. But I'm adding a lot more top end, cutting more mids, adding some more bottom end. Same with the snare, adding a lot of top end, a little high mid crack, more high mid crack and a little more body there. And I'm even adding some distortion to the drums here. This is on the snare, and here it is without. Without that distortion, it loses all punch and heaviness, and that would work well for that Christmas song. But if we're going for a modern, punchy, almost rock kit, we need this in the snare. And we're still using similar reverbs, maybe just some more of this snare plate. And then on the rooms, we've got more compression. Here it is without. Of course, a level difference, but I'm just trying to bring out the sustain of the drums more. Then the real secret is this compression bus. So I've got two drum buses here. One is for all of the drums, but the other one is just compression, and I'm mostly putting shells to that. So I'll show you the meters here. So all of the drums are going to this main bus. Now if I mute this crush bus while it's playing, it's going to lose some of that punch. And the crush bus on its own sounds like this. In the mix, it's obviously not that loud, but it's just blended in with the regular drum bus to add some extra punch. Before we get to the last two, go ahead and grab your free studio prep guide at the link below, and while you're down there, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Alright, now we get into the really fun stuff. This is some thrash metal. And let's just take a listen to some of this song, because there's a lot going on here. So we've got a lot more snap in these drums. They have a thick wall of guitars to cut through. So on the way in, I probably added more top end on the console. And we're gating these pretty heavily. Now these gates by Black Salt Audio are pretty insane. I'm going to solo up this kick for you. It's crazy how much this just cuts out. And check out this snare before and after. I mean, how do you beat that? I don't use these gates for everything because for a little more organic sounding drums, it kind of cuts off some of the natural body of the drums. But with aggressive metal like this and tons of cymbals going on, you have to gate this hard because we are adding all the top end on this channel strip, lots of high end crack, lots of high mid crack, and just a little bit of body. But generally speaking, the whole goal with drums in a faster, more aggressive song like this is just adding enough top end to cut through that thick wall of guitars. And then of course we've got lots of compression, so I'm adding a compressor onto the snare. So I've got this compressor on the snare. And I've also got this compressor on the snare. Not just kissing that light anymore. And I also tracked with compression on the snare just for some extra punch. For those who are curious, I used a distressor. I think the settings were probably attack set at 8 and release set at 2, and knocking out between 2 and 5 dB. And on the toms, same thing, adding tons of top end. Again, just making sure they can cut through that thick wall of guitars and keep the song driving, because that's what metal drums are all about. And of course, for those thrash drums, I'm turning up that compression bus a little bit more to make the drums even punchier. All right, and the last drum setup I want to show you guys is when I record a live band in the studio. How that works is everyone is out in the live room, typically, so they can all see each other, and then we plug the bass direct in, we mic the drums, keys go direct in, and then we keep a scratch guitar, that's also direct, and a scratch vocal, which is in the room, but it's got tons of drum bleed. When we record a full live band like that, I can't really edit too much, and sometimes you get some cool vocal bleed into the overheads. I tend to like that kind of stuff. When I have that many mics going, I don't really get to use room mics. So what I'm doing in the mix in that scenario is I'm adding the room sound in with extra reverbs. Let's just see what we got here. I'm only using a little bit of a kick sample here, otherwise everything is just natural drums. These guys are a jam band, so you really gotta embrace that kind of stuff. So first, I'll mute all of the reverbs so you can see how much I'm adding. Here's all of the reverbs muted, and then I'll bring them back in. Yeah, the reverb just really ties everything together, and I've got 4 of them going on this drum kit. I've got this gated reverb for the snare, one that's called snare plate, but I run my toms through that as well. We've got this room reverb, which for this sound, I use this Verb Suite Classics by Slate. This thing is one of the best reverbs I've ever used. It's got every setting you can possibly imagine. It's amazing. And then I've also got everything going to this long plate. I actually have every instrument going to this long plate reverb because I wanted it to sound like the band was playing in that one room. I used the chrome plate setting. This is, I think it's pretty close to the default setting, and I loved the way it sounded. I tested some others, ended up just coming back to this, and then I just changed a few of the settings here. But this thing makes all the difference for gluing the entire record together. And that is how I process drums differently based on styles and players. Everything is going to be wildly different based on who plays the drums. So that's why I didn't get into too many details of what exactly I'm doing, because it's all what I have to start with. But this at least gives you an idea of where my mind is at when I'm mixing. If you like what you heard and want to work here at SourceTrack Studio, go ahead and check out sourcetrackstudio.com.